We have a hole in our hearts that we don't know how to fill. Jason's no longer there, getting changed into his uniform next to me in the locker room. There's an empty seat in briefing where he sat with his shift. And after today, Edward 143 will be a call sign that will never be assigned again.
Fargo Police Chief Todd leads an arena full of mourners in saying goodbye to Fargo officer Jason Moszer.
Thousands of officers have driven near and far in support of Officer Moszer. I'll tell you how far some have trekked.
Thousands of people lined the procession route to pay their final respects to Officer Moszer.
KVRR News at 6 starts right now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for team coverage of the funeral for Fargo's fallen police officer Jason Moszer.
It's a day the community of Fargo will never forget with a massive funeral for Officer Moszer. KVRR Sarah Breckbill was there and joins us live. Sarah?
TJ and Allison, as the Reverend said, the only thing that comes easy today are tears. But along with tears, laughter, memories, and prayer also filled Shields Arena to remember and honor the life of Jason Moszer. Friends and family describe Moszer as not only a hero, but a devoted father, loving husband, brother, son, and officer. Thousands of Moszer's family in blue and brown traveled near and far to pay their respects. Many of them didn't even know Jason, but from the few stories shared, it was easy to realize Jason was a special man.
Appreciate your life and the life of people you love. Appreciate what is sacrificed for you to live in this society. It's not free, and it's sure not easy.
Jason, my brother and my friend. We commend you into God's care.
Friends and family describe Jason as a humble man. They say he wouldn't have wanted a ceremony so grand. Even when he received the Silver Star for saving 2 children, he just smiled and shrugged his shoulders. But Jason did have one request. He had a passion for biking and was a brother of the Gunslingers Motorcycle Club. So Jason asked to be carried out to Bon Jovi's Wanted Dead or Alive. And that's exactly what his brothers and sisters did. At 9 on KVRR, hear from his childhood friend. Sarah Breckbill, KVRR News.
Thanks, Sarah. Once Officer Moszer's funeral ended, his fellow officers found a community standing strong, waiting for them outside.
Supporters lined a procession route about 20 miles long, leading from Shields Arena through Fargo and Moorhead. People left work early, even pulled their kids out of school, all to show officers that the locals are here for them, their time of need. When officers like Moszer sacrifice it all for a community, supporters say it's the least they can do, let them know they are appreciated.
Showing that we totally support the people that protect us.
Well, it's a brotherhood, you know, they're all family.
Yeah.
It's unknown how many vehicles took part in that procession. Thousands of officers are in Fargo to honor Officer Moszer.
Law enforcement gathered early this morning before leaving for the memorial service. KVRR's Diane Tao joins us live. Diane?
TJ and Allison, I'm at the Shields Arena where the funeral for Officer Moszer was held today. Before the service, hundreds of law enforcement met at the Fargo Dome before leaving in a procession line to the ceremony 8:30 this morning. Squad car after squad car after squad car rolled into the Fargo Dome, all for one reason: to give Officer Jason Moszer a proper send-off.
It makes you very proud to be a part of law enforcement. I mean, for me, that's what it means. That, you know, there are a lot of people that will support us when we need supported.
Detective Mario Mora spent nearly 12 hours on the road and drove almost 800 miles from Goshen, Indiana. He and 3 other officers made the journey from Elkhart County.
The law enforcement community is very supportive of each other, and they come from everywhere. I've seen New York. We were talking to some guys last night about people from Texas and everywhere.
Officers have driven thousands of miles, proving that there is no distance for when it comes to the brotherhood and sisterhood of law enforcement.
You know what? It's basically about the brotherhood, the sisterhood, police. We're all in this together. We all do the same job. We're all here to, you know, protect and serve. And again, regardless of borders, regardless of service, regardless of any of those things, it's about being there for each other.
A group from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police out of Winnipeg trekked over the border to remember Officer Moser's service to the law. From different corners of the nation to the valley, local officers are still feeling the strength to continue serving the public.
It's through community support and the support of our fellow law enforcement officers that allow you to be able to do this job and have the pride that you do, knowing that you're doing the right thing for the right reasons, and it's just something that's very touching.
Moorhead Police Lieutenant Tori Jacobson says that this tragedy has only made local law enforcement stronger.
The visuals, the emotions that you see and feel from events like this are something that give you that deeper drive. You know that when you're responding to that next emergency call that, the community does have your back.
It is reported at least 2,800 officers attended. Local agencies are stepping up to monitor the Fargo area while the Fargo Police Department takes time to grieve. Reporting live at the Shields Arena, I'm Diane Tao, KVRR News.
Thanks, Diane. It was definitely a sight to see, and especially even online.
Incredible.
Pictures are flooding in. Parents at the elementary school that was shut down briefly following Officer Mozer's shooting are remembering him with their students.
The processional route went right past Horace Mann Elementary. Mourners were beginning to line up along the route as school let out this afternoon. Some of the kindergarten through second graders put blue ribbons around the trees there in his honor. KVRR's Emily Welker will show you how parents and teachers are talking with kids about the loss on KVRR News at 9.
In light of Officer Mozer's funeral, the YMCA hosted free childcare for attendees. The YMCA had 12 volunteers at their 42nd Street South location that helped with a free service. Parents were able to drop off their children between the hours of 11 and 4 as they attended the funeral. People at the Y say it was just one way to give back to the community during this difficult time. On KVRR News at 9, we will hear from one parent on just how much the free daycare meant to her. Well, we woke up to some snow showers this morning.
Meteorologist Rob Kupek joins us from the Weather Center. Rob, will that be the case again tomorrow morning?
It looks like it will be. There will be some tonight and again, probably some more in the morning. Let's start with the radar here. We're going to loop back. Got a few snow showers already busting out towards Jamestown Oaks, but there is the little system that clipped us this morning in Fargo. Snow is a little bit heavier down to the south. I saw Enderlin had about 1.5 inches to 2 inches down that way. There are some more snow showers up to the north, and especially north of the border up in the Winnipeg area. There are quite a few snow showers, and some of those may drop down into northern Minnesota. Matter of fact, on the visible satellite, you can even see a few of that little bit of snow showing up here on the visible satellite. Give me a second. I'll circle it right in here. Right just south of Fargo, you can see a pretty good little band from that snow shower, just enough to clip the air. Matter of fact, take a look at the time lapse here this morning. Started out okay, and then whoop, snow shower just enough to slicken up the roads in the FM area. I'll have more on who has the best chance of some snow showers in the morning in just a few minutes.
A Milner man was hospitalized after he was hurt in a rollover Sunday afternoon.
State Patrol says 24-year-old Tyler Larson failed to stop at a stop sign at Highway 13 just south of Milnor, lost control of his pickup and rolled at least 3 times in a ditch. He was pinned beneath the truck. Larson was taken to Essentia in Fargo with injuries to his upper body and head. State Patrol says alcohol was a factor in the crash. Larson was charged with DUI.
Danny Heinrich, a person of interest in Jacob Wetterling's disappearance, returned to federal court Monday in Minneapolis. Heinrich entered a not guilty plea to more than 24 child pornography charges. He spoke only his name, birth date, and to waive the reading of the indictment. Heinrich's next court date is April 27th for a pretrial hearing, with the trial date set for July 11th. Since investigators announced Heinrich was a person of interest last October, lawyers on both sides have been dealing with the case that they call unusual and complex.
South Dakota Governor Dennis Dugard has scheduled a meeting with a group of transgender people. The meeting tomorrow comes as he weighs whether to make South Dakota the first state in the country to require school children to use bathrooms at locker rooms that correspond to their sex at birth. A Sioux Falls nonprofit, the Center for Equality, asked for the meeting. Its director of operations said the request was in response to Dugard saying he hadn't knowingly met a transgender person.
High school graduation rates in Minnesota continue to increase. The Minnesota Department of Education reports nearly 82% of high school students graduated last year. That's up from about 81% in 2014. Graduation rates for students of color also increased last year, with the biggest gains made by Hispanic and Black teens. The report shows 62% of Black students graduated in 2015 compared to 60% in 2014.
Former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty is endorsing Senator Marco Rubio in the race for the Republican presidential nomination. Valenti made the announcement on CNN, calling the Florida senator the most electable conservative with a strong view on how to move the country forward. Florida senator is scheduled to appear at a rally in Minneapolis tomorrow afternoon, a week ahead of Minnesota's presidential preference caucuses. The state is one of 12 to take part in so-called Super Tuesday.
He's bold, he's next generation, he's reform-minded, change-oriented. I think what people want in Donald Trump is strength. In Marco Rubio, you get that same strength, but it's an informed strength. And I think that's really important, particularly when you get to issues like national security and defense issues and foreign affairs.
Valenti sought the 2012 GOP presidential nomination and dropped out of the race following a third-place finish in the Iowa straw poll. Republican presidential candidate Ted Cruz has asked his campaign spokesman to resign.
He tweeted a story that falsely alleged Marco Rubio insulted the Bible. Cruz tells reporters that he asked for Rick Tyler's resignation. Rubio has blasted Cruz for the incident and asked whether Cruz would fire anyone involved.
Rick Tyler's a good man. This was a grave error of judgment. It turned out the news story he sent around was false, but I'll tell you, even if it was true, we are not a campaign that is going to question the faith of another candidate. Even if it was true, our campaign should not have sent it. That's why I've asked for Rick Tyler's resignation.
Cruz deleted the tweet once he found it was false. Donald Trump now being called unstoppable after his big win in the South Carolina primary.
Next up, there is the Democrat race where Hillary Clinton looks to keep the momentum following her win in Nevada. Peter Ducey's in Washington with the latest.
The GOP presidential candidates are heading west, gearing up for their next showdown in Nevada, where voters will head to the polls in Tuesday's Republican state caucus there. It follows Donald Trump's big win in South Carolina, which further solidifies his position as the Republican frontrunner, giving him a significant number of delegates as he goes into Nevada and Super Tuesday.
One of the things I do that no other Republican can do, Rubio, Cruz, nobody, I'm going to be getting a lot of Democrats to cross over, and they'll be coming with me, the Reagan Democrats, they call them. I'll be getting a lot of independents. I'll win Michigan, which nobody else could even think about winning.
Also looking to ride the momentum picked up in South Carolina, Senator Marco Rubio, who was second place with just over 22% of the vote.
We were just in Tennessee, had 4,000 people, came here to do this. I'm going to Nevada. To Las Vegas, and when it comes to our campaign, what happens in Vegas is not staying in Vegas. You know, we want to bring it all over the country.
This as Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders turn their sights on the Palmetto State, getting set to face off in the Democratic primary this Saturday. It follows Clinton's win in the Nevada caucus, where she beat Sanders 53 to 47%. Sanders, however, is encouraging voters to make South Carolina the state that closes the gap between him and Clinton.
On Saturday, South Carolina has the opportunity to make American history, and I hope you will.
Clinton and Sanders will go head-to-head one last time before this weekend's primary when they appear in a prime-time town hall event tomorrow night. In Washington, Peter Ducey, Fox News.
Is it a sign of Oscar gold to come? The big award, The Big Short, just landed, and how it plays into its Best Picture chances.
And later, this playful panda proves there is no fun like snow fun.
You know what is no fun? Being in Northwest Flow, which is what we will be in all week. It gives meteorologists gray hair, really makes them lose their hair. Look what it did to me. When we come back, we'll talk about our weather forecast for the rest of the week.
You are watching KVRR News at 6 with TJ Nelson, Allison Voorhees, Chief Meteorologist Rob Kupek, and Sports Director Mike McCann.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us. Let's start here with a webcam in Jamestown this morning. You caught a little piece of that snow shower as well. I-94 snow covered, and then some sunshine through the day, and everything just melted away. No snow on the ground out in the Jamestown area. That's going to help keep the temperature up, but there's some snow showers developing out that way tonight. So two little patches here. This one will work its way towards Fargo. This one is working generally to the east, but I think it will probably expand down into northern Minnesota. In between, there is some clearing sky. So it is a hodgepodge of weather, but our weather continues out of the northwest. That's what I refer to as northwest flow, and usually within that, there are lots of little systems and impulses that are very hard for the computer models and meteorologists to sometimes pick up. Yes, last night We had a snow shower around Grand Forks in Futurecast. Turned out it was down to the south, so we had the idea, but didn't happen. Tonight we will see those scattered snow showers, and in the morning, and the computer models have been kind of agreeing about this. Fergus Falls, maybe down towards Sisseton, might break out into a little more snow in northern Minnesota as well. And most places, it's going to be nothing to an inch. If you caught the wrong snow shower, say like Enderlin did last night, you could end up with a couple of inches. Such will be the nature of snow showers. So 0 to 2 really across the area. And even late in the day tomorrow, there may be some flurries or some snow showers that pop up in Minnesota. North Dakota, maybe a little bit more sunshine on that side of the border. Our winds are out of the south, and they've been a little breezy at times today. They will drop back and then turn around out of the north, probably by morning in most locations. Temperature-wise, we did okay in the temperature department. We're sitting at 35 right now in Fargo, 36 in Grand Forks, 32 up in Langdon. Most places fairly mild. There's a weak little front here. If you get on the other side of that, Badette is only sitting at 25, 29 up in War Road. That's what I was trying to say. A lot of rain down here in the southeast. Tomorrow, good chance of some thunderstorms, some strong ones down in the southeast part of the U.S., so keep an eye on that. The rest of the country fairly quiet, just kind of a mix of hodgepodge systems here. There's some snow just south of Denver, too. Winter storm warning up there in part of New Mexico, and wind across the south is the big problem today. High today in Fargo is 36, low 22, 37 and 22 in Grand Forks. 0.3 inches of snow in Fargo, 0.2 in Grand Forks. And again, as you went just south of town, that number increases to about an inch or so in the FM area. Overnight tonight, scattered snow showers, otherwise variably cloudy. Wind out of the south will turn to the northwest at about 5 to 15. Most places mid to upper 20s, really all across the region. Be a little hard. Some places in and out of the clouds. You may bounce around a little bit in the temperature department. By the afternoon, we'll say for tomorrow, a morning snow shower, variably cloudy across northeastern North Dakota. Winds out of the northwest at about 10 to 20. 32 Grand Forks, 31 Grafton, 32 in Devil's Lake. Across northern Minnesota, mostly morning snow showers. They might linger into the afternoon here. Mostly cloudy. Winds northwest at 10 to 20. Either side of about 30 degrees across northern Minnesota. West central Minnesota, mostly morning snow showers. Same thing. They may linger into the afternoon in a few spots. Northwest winds 10 to 20 around the freezing point here. Maybe as warm as 35 in Wheaton. And southeastern North Dakota, morning snow shower. Then turn partly cloudy. Northwest winds 10 to 20. 34 in Fargo and Oaks. 32 in Valley City. Warm as 35 down in Sisseton. The KVRR 7-day Weather Authority forecast. Another chance of a snow shower Wednesday. This time it looks like in the afternoon, mainly from about Fargo south and west. Similar temperature, 34. Looks a little cooler on Thursday. Could be some flurries, mostly cloudy, 24. And a little change in forecast. I bumped Friday now up to 42. Partly cloudy. Kind of a similar setup to what we had last Friday. And the same thing on Saturday, partly cloudy, be a little cooler. And then it does look like here's where things get interesting. One computer model says it is going to get ugly, ugly cold. And the other one says no, and they keep going back and forth about it. So breezy, we'll say 21 right now, 18 on Monday. Just keep in mind that the weekend will be a little in flux, at least in the temperature department, the way it looks like. But right now, Friday is looking fairly mild.
I keep waiting for that February freeze to return, but it looks like we might escape it this year.
I'm okay without it.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be really interesting to see actually what happens weekend-wise temperatures.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks. What are the connections between two different movie awards?
How about between Emma Watson and Ferris Bueller? Well, David Daniel has all the answers in our Hollywood Minute.
No one's paying attention. The banks got greedy, and we can profit off of their stupidity.
An award you've probably never heard of may have just cinched an Oscar for The Big Short. The movie won the University of Southern California's Scripter Award for the year's best cinematic adaptation of the written word. So what? So the last 5 winners, including The Imitation Game, 12 Years a Slave, and Argo, went on to win the adapted screenplay Oscar. Emma Watson's Year Off. The British actress and UN Women Goodwill Ambassador says she's taking a year away from acting. In an interview with feminist Bell Hooks published in Paper magazine, Watson says she'll spend that time working on her He for She campaign for gender equality and what she calls personal development, including reading at least 1 book a week. And it's been 30 years since Ferris Bueller's Day Off, so get ready for Ferris Fest, a celebration in Chicago where the film takes place. Events planned for the May weekend include a screening, a tour of filming locations, and a recreation of that famous parade scene. With the Hollywood Minute, I'm David Daniel.
UND hockey and St. Cloud remain neck and neck. Why are the Hawks trying to copy the Huskies this weekend?
Hi, everybody. Last Monday, UND hockey's season was down to the final 3 weeks, with the Hawks finding themselves tied atop the NCHC standings with the St. Cloud State Huskies. Fast forward 7 days, not a lot has changed, except that 3 weeks is now 2, and the emphasis placed on winning may be just a little greater. North Dakota took care of business against the Duluth Bulldogs, winning both games by identical scores of 2-1. St. Cloud also won both games of its weekend. The Huskies were at Omaha, and wouldn't you know it, that's where Brad Berry's club goes this weekend. Heading there with a little momentum, but also heading there still number 4 in the national polls. Here's a check on the USCHO poll. Quinnipiac, Boston College, and St. Cloud ahead of North Dakota. That is the exact same top 3 as last week. Matter of fact, to be technical, the entire top 5 is the same. Providence still occupying that last spot, and UND still looking for 2 wins. They get their chance against Dean Blaze and the Mavs. Always a fun series. Omaha allowed 10 goals in those 2 losses to St. Cloud this past weekend. These 2 teams split the series when they met in Grand Forks, 7-0-7 for both games. We'll have much more on this one throughout the week. There's something to be said for those who can claim that they're at the right place at the right time. The winner of the DJ Coulter Agency High School Play of the Week can certainly say he was in the right place at the right time, but he still had to finish the play, which he did. From last Tuesday, West Fargo's Isaac Anderson given a gift on the doorstep. He corrals it and scores it. The Packers win against Grafton. Really nice hand-eye coordination. We'll look again in slow motion. A pair of spoiler defenders just overskate the puck. Anderson says, "Thank you very much. I'll do the rest from there." Past a sprawling goalie and flying into the boards, because that's what you do when you score big goals. Isaac Anderson, winner of the DJ Coulter Agency High School Play of the Week. Speaking of high school athletics, a couple early Class B girls basketball playoff games to catch you up on in the state of North Dakota. In Region 1, the number 1 seed Fairmount Campbell Tinta takes down Hankinson 71-37 in the 4-5 game between Oak Grove and Wyndmere Lidgerwood. Warbirds get by with a 57-50 win. Those 2 winners will play each other tomorrow. More from girls basketball. Thompson, fresh off that big win against Sacred Heart, has another against Hillsborough Central Valley, 55-16 rather. Tommy's now 22-0, just 2 games away from state. That game in Region 2. In Region 3, Carrington wins by a closer score, but it's still a win. Cards down Napoleon Gackle Streeter 42-35. In the world of Major League Baseball, spring training is viewed as almost a rite of passage for players and fans alike. For players, it's oftentimes the first taste of what it means to be a big leaguer when you're young. For the fans, there is nothing like smelling that fresh-cut grass the first time. It reminds you that good times are ahead, and the Twins are hoping those good times start right now. Pitchers and catchers present and accounted for in Fort Myers. Today marks the first day of the battery mates working out. The position players that aren't down there already will be by week's end, and then not long after that, we have baseball. Minnesota will play its first spring game next Wednesday. That is March the 2nd against the Boston Red Sox. They'll conclude the spring April 2nd. And then opening day in Baltimore for the Twins and Orioles slated for April 4th with the opener at Target Field a week later. And if we're counting, it is mental math. It is right here, 41 days until April 4th. That's not a lot of days.
That's not far off.
Baseball will be here soon.
That's crazy.
There you go.
All right, thanks, Mike.
A panda schools us about how we should all act when it snows.
And we'll take another look at Rob's forecast next. Well, here's one way to wake up in the morning.
With a face full of fresh snow. There he goes. The Toronto Zoo posted this adorable video of giant panda Mao last week. According to the zoo, he woke up to see the snow, and he got a little excited. The panda emerged out of his cave and tumbled down the snowy hill. Well, he liked it so much, climbed up halfway, and did it again. If only we were all that excited to get out of bed in the morning.
If only we were all excited about the video. Rob's not so much.
Start buying it.
It's another fake video. Pandas are people in costumes.
No.
There's no way that could really be a bear. Just not buying it. Hey, we do have a couple little snow showers that are headed our way this evening, so keep that in mind. Mainly out to the west right now, but they could roll into Fargo about 9 o'clock or so. There are also some snow showers up to the north, so scattered snow showers, really that will last into the morning hours. So that is the forecast for tomorrow. Morning snow showers, then sort of a variably cloudy day. Winds will be a little stronger tomorrow, northwest, kind of 10 to 20, and probably a couple degrees cooler than it was today.
Not bad, though.
No.
And down to the wire for UND hockey.
Yeah, amazing. Started last week, same thing, right there with St. Cloud. It almost has this aura around it because UND and St. Cloud split their series. So there really has not been a true winner between those two. We might not find out until the conference tournament. At this rate, that'll be that way.
All right, we'll see.
That does it for us. Up next, The Big Bang Theory, followed by The X-Files and Lucifer.
And then join us again for more in-depth coverage of Officer Moszer and his funeral on KVRR News at 9. Have a good night.